want to leave, you're embarrassing yourself. I know! But I had nowhere to go. My brother was in Southern California, so I couldn't go to him. My best friend wasn't picking up, so the only thing I had this master key to the men's warehouse before I was going to quit. That's where I was working. And it was like a 12 or 15 mile drive. I walked there with my guitar and my checks. And then I remember, this is like the one thing I remember the most, because like I was so fucking pissed, I couldn't remember how long it took me to get from there to the place. It felt like it was like 15 seconds, but it took like hours. And then when I took off my shoes, my whole sock, it was white socks, and they were all red because it was just bleeding from all the blisters. And I just looked at myself, and I was like, man, what the fuck am I doing, you know? And it was one of those moments where you have to choose, either you fly or you die. So I made the whole choice to say, I'm out of here, you don't really support me, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And then, mind you, my father's a pastor too, and we grew up very poor, so for him, when he looks at me and he says that I want to be a comedian, he doesn't see opportunity, he sees me struggling. So I empathize with him, but at the same time, it's kind of like sometimes with my dad, I felt like he wanted me to be something that was built in his dreams. So he made this mold for me, and then I didn't fit it. So he was trying to push me into it, you know? And then when I would fight back, he felt like I was being like disobedient to him. So long story short, he's very supportive now. Now he tells everybody that he's the reason why I went into comedy. Which is the fucking thing that annoys me the most. He goes, I told him when he's the barn, clown. That's me. I'm a funny too. My dad's is stupid. It's like the dumbest. Oh, look at this. Oh. What the fuck, man? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's like a personal thing that most people don't even know about me. A lot of times you guys see like the end product at the end result, but it's a big struggle. I mean, for me specifically, there's other YouTubers that, yeah, they kind of fell upon it, they had a good life, and it worked out for them that way, but it wasn't like that for me. Like, I had to really fight for what I wanted, and that was probably the biggest struggle, because like when you kind of like in this space where you don't have a lot of people that believe in you, you kind of have to just depend on yourself and just pray that your determination and your skills is going to get you there. And that was probably the hardest thing, because I really felt like I was alone. Like, even though there was like friends that said you can do it, they didn't really know what I was doing, because I'm like, out of my group of friends, I'm the only one that did what I did. There was no other stand-up comedian, there wasn't a musician. Most of them were either, so I had two group of friends. So there was the intelligent, smart ones that went to college, and there's the other ones that were a bunch of pieces of shit duds, which they're just doing the same shit. They're either dead or they're in prison now. So I didn't have, this support group. Even when I was in high school, like my senior year, I decided to join choir, right? You know why I didn't join choir earlier? Because I thought it was a bitch thing to do, But I love singing. I just didn't want to come up and, be a thug. How do, you can't like fucking like do a drive-by shit. To the end of the it didn't really work out. So it was such a conflicting thing. And now, having said that, like I'm on YouTube now. You guys know, if you guys watch my content, it's not very what I call like popular content. I rarely ever talk about stuff that everybody else does. Like when something big pops up, you don't see me jump on it. I just talk about my life, my experiences, what I think, which kind of explains why, like, obviously I have 1 million subscribers, but can I get a lot further? Yeah, if I did the whole, 15 things to poo, or like 12 things to blue, which, in my personal opinion, like, it's somebody else's grind. I mean, I respect it, but I think that's already obvious. I think we already know that shit. And there's already 1 million people doing that. So I like to draw from my own experiences and, help you guys feel better about your situation, It's funny because a lot of the times too, when I see YouTubers and the way sometimes I see certain YouTubers that they feel like they're so entitled. It's like, well, in all honesty, you wouldn't be where you're at if it wasn't for your fans. Like, literally, you're nothing without them. Nothing. Because people who haven't done the traditional grind, they don't realize how fucking hard it is. You know how hard it is to fucking go into a stand-up comedy club at the age of 16 and have nobody laugh? Shit was fucking rough. And I remember I went in there, I was like, hey guys, so life, shut the fuck up, all right? But I came back next week, hey guys, shut the fuck, all right. One day. So you hear a lot of people, they hear the word no, and they get so upset. They're like, oh, they don't want to take me for this TV because they don't know what's going on. I was like, no, you fucking suck. You have no talent. Like, at the end of the day, too, like, Big Hollywood, what I found out about Big Hollywood, they don't really care so much about your numbers as much as your skills, And because I was in that traditional grind, I heard the word no growing up so much, I'm like used to it. It's like, whatever. I read those comments too, like some of the most angry, it makes me laugh so much. Like, you fucking suck. I'm like, all right. Okay. You know, I don't do this anymore because my manager told me not to, but I used to respond back to the comments, not because I was angry, just because I wanted to see what they would say. So they would be like, you fucking suck, that's not even true. I'm like, hey, fuck your mom. And then he would get mad, and they would write something back, I just write, I fucked your mom. I would just keep on doing it over and over. I wouldn't even look at this comment, I would just keep on pressing enter and copy paste over and over and over, you know. But, I mean, how do you guys feel about, like, your guys' like, career choice? I mean, first of all, it's a very prestigious school, which is dope, you know. I don't think, like, I think a lot of times you guys look at entertainers like our life is like the best thing on earth, but it's not really. I mean, it's kind of like where your skills are, you know, where you want to go. One of my best friends, he's the person that I respect the most out of this whole world, is my best friend. His name is Gabo. He was like in my earlier videos, and Gabo was in medical school. Like man, for him to be in medical school is tough because we grew up poor. Didn't have a lot of good influences, horrible influences, gangs, violence, whatever, and he's going to medical school on a full ride scholarship. Like, what the fuck? Like, man, that's my hero, you know? I look at him and I see excellence. When I look at myself, I want to catch up to him. So it's all like relative, you know what I'm saying? So any questions? Any thoughts?
It's when you fought with your dad, like I remember in like your UCLA videos, what's it called? The place that you were living with Gabo, was that like that?
That shed, so when I did that video, I just moved back in with my parents. That's when we reconciled. So my mom had to tell my father, like, my mom is like, she's like one of my closest friends, so she was very disappointed in me in the fact, the way that I kind of handled the situation. And, you know, I feel bad for my dad because he had his son yell at him in such a, if I had a kid and my son talked to me like that, I think I'd die. So, like, that's something that I have to live with. But at the same time, I had to make my own choices. So at that time, we reconciled because my mom talked to my dad, and then my dad had this whole dream of, like, how he wanted me to be. So he wanted me to be this, like, business mogul, like, rich guy, balling at, like, handling shit, you know, but I turned out to be a fucking clown. So he got really upset with that. She kind of told him, it's like, you know, you wanted him to grow up with these, like, very strict Korean customs where, you know, father is the head of the house, so you do what he says and you know, everything's going to be okay. So then why did you come to America? Why did you raise him here? You know, why did you raise him with American ideals when you wanted him to do something else? It's kind of your fault. She says, like, if you wanted him to be like that, then we should have stayed in Korea and we could have just roughed it out over there. And after that, my father kind of like, okay, like, I can kind of see what I was doing wrong. He never said sorry to me. I don't think my dad knows what the word sorry is. I think one time my dad dropped a brick on my toe, and he goes, see that? Your toe's too big. Yeah, so that was the, in the backyard, my dad built this, we call it the shed. It's not a shed, it's an extra room. And so I got to scream as much as I wanted in there. Because my dad's not going to go, yeah, shit, good. You know, I would just like scream in that room. So that was where I was staying after my dad, after I left for a year, he built that. So, and I didn't know, but he built it for me. So he was like trying to say, I'm sorry. He doesn't know how to say it though. Yeah, go live there. I'm like, oh, he said sorry.